Okay.
This is an interview at the Chanticleer Motel, Geneva, New York, 25th of August, 2005, approximately 1:15 p.m. Interviewers are Wayne Clark and Mike Russert. Could you give me your full name, date of birth, and place of birth, please?
My name is Robert Paul Springer. I was born March 15th, 1939 in Geneva, New York.
Okay, what was your educational background prior to entering service?
I quit high school in my junior year and joined the Navy.
Okay. You enlisted. Why did you enlist? Why did you pick the Navy?
Well, my brother was already in the Navy, and I was having trouble getting along with my stepfather, so I figured that was the thing to do. So.
Okay, where did you go for your basic?
Bainbridge, Maryland.
And could you tell us a little bit about your basic? How long? What things? I mean, I know it's just basic, but...
Yeah, well, I think I went in on the 29th of March in Bainbridge. It was cold when we got there. And we had a first-class bosun mate that was hard. I mean, he really drove us there in boot camp. Like, we come back from our day's work and we find our lockers all tipped over and everything on the floor and have to clean everything up. And he get us up in the middle of the night, go out and do PT on a grinder and stuff like that. But it was a learning experience. It ended up being fun, so I enjoyed it.
How long were you there?
I think it was 3 months.
And where did you go from Bainbridge?
There I went right back to Bainbridge, Maryland to Radioman A school. I was there until December.
Okay.
After I got out of school, I went aboard the USS San Pablo, AGS 30.
What did you learn in school?
How to copy Morse code and how to type, because I didn't know how to type or anything on it, so it was hard for me because I had to learn how to copy the Morse code and type at the same time, so it took me a little longer than it did the guys that knew how to type, but I finally managed it. So,
okay, so you had
really taught us the basic Morse code and some basic electronics and stuff like that.
Did you learn semaphore also?
Yes, I learned that during boot camp.
Okay.
So they didn't teach us semaphore in radio school, not that I recall anyway.
Okay. Did you also use the signal lights?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. What kind of ship was the San Pablo?
It was an agriculture geographical survey ship. What we did was, when we went out to sea, we took people from Washington, D.C., Hydro Washington. They did surveys of the ocean. And what I understand, what these surveys eventually did was make up maps and stuff for the submarines. So they took all kinds of stuff for the ocean, and we'd be out there quite a while at some times, then we'd go right into port. But we always had civilians from Hydro Washington every time we went out to work. So
Your duties then were basically as a radioman.
right, as a radioman, right, aboard ship.
Okay. How long were you at sea most of the time?
The longest I think was 3 weeks to a month. Then we'd hit a port for Liberty, and what they do when we hit a port for Liberty before coming back, when we knew it was coming back to the States, people from Hydro Wash would get off and they'd fly back. And we ride the ship back, and because we just had Liberty before we got back, when we got back to the States, we was always broke.
Now, what parts of the world were you?
We went over the Mediterranean.
Mediterranean is where you did most of this?
Okay.
Okay.
And while I was over there, on one cruise, my brother was stationed in Morocco, so I got a chance to get some leave and spend a few days with him. While the ship was over there. So.
Now, where were some of the places you were able to visit?
Well, Gibraltar, of course, Casablanca, places like that. Can't remember them all, it's been a long time.
Okay, where did you go after the San Pablo?
I went aboard the USS Haleakala, ammunition ship, AE-25. Put that in commission in Newport News, Virginia. Then we took it to the through the Panama Canal out to the west coast. We got out through the Panama Canal, we went down to Chile, Costa Rica, and went up and was home ported in Port Chicago, California.
So you were a plank holder then?
Yes. Plank holder.
You must have crossed the equator then, too.
Yes, we crossed the equator on there. I never got a chance to get revenge, though.
What was the celebration like?
Like crawling through garbage. But a garbage chute there you had to crawl through, and then they beat on you. It wasn't too bad.
So you carry your card?
No, I got it home in my desk drawer in a box.
Okay. All right, the next you went on to Chicago.
No, then I went to Taiwan.
Oh, okay.
USTDC, United States Defense, Taiwan, Taipei, Taiwan. It was a communications center over there. In fact, that's where I was, and I was on watch when President Kennedy got assassinated.
What would you tell us about that?
That was
You were on radio station at that time, or?
that was at a communications center,
Mm-hmm.
kind of big comm center they had over there. Their watch officer was down making a run, so I had to send somebody down to get him because all the machines went crazy after he got assassinated. And we went through a typhoon there. Spent 3 days there eating sea rations when they had a big typhoon over there. I lost all of our power and everything for 3 days. So that's the only time I had to eat sea rations anyway. So.
What was Taipei like back then?
Well, Taiwanese are, like descendants from Chinese, so it was more something like China. But it was, I enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
And the best thing was, in the Navy Club, the drinks were all 15 cents. And Army and Air Force clubs, they were 25 cents, but the Navy Club, they were 15 cents. So I spent a lot of time there.
Mm-hmm. How long were you there?
I was there 18 months. And that was some good duty. I bought an old Hudson, I think it was a 1952 Superjet a month after I got there, for $150. And I drove it until just before I left, and I sold it for $150. So.
Oh, so you had your own car over
I
there.
had a car over there, yep.
That must have been pretty unusual.
Yep. And there's a couple other guys and myself, we had our own house where we lived, so that made it good.
Mm-hmm. Now, what rank were you at that point?
RM2, Radioman second class. I went from Seaman Deuce to RM2 aboard the USS San Pablo. I think I was on it for 3 years.
Now, when you were at this base, were there any secret duties that were done, or any?
Well, we get top secret messages over the teletype and stuff like that. I was cleared for top secret, so yes, there was.
You can't talk about them.
No.
Okay. All right. After that,
Then I went to the USS Chicago.
there we go.
Put that in commission. So I'm a blank owner twice. That was in San Francisco. When I got there, I was the first man from our operations department there, and a day or so after I got there, was Lieutenant Elant. He was our operations officer. He showed up. So him and I worked together there, getting the ship set up. Then he come to me, he wanted to know where to install the equipment. And I said, I had not a clue. Every ship I've had one radio shack. Well, I had a big radio shack, then a small emergency radio shack. In this USS Chicago, I had about 5 or 6 rooms. I said, I have not a clue where to put this equipment. That's what you have to do yourself. No way. I mean, it was huge. I'd never been on a ship that big before. So we had 5 or 6 rooms for our radio equipment and everything.
Now, what was it like being on such a large ship after your other assignments?
Well, it was different, and it was kind of chicken shit because we had a flag aboard, so I got where I didn't care for it too much. But they made you go to chow in your dress whites or in your whites and stuff like that. You couldn't wear dungarees or anything.
Could you tell us what you meant by flag aboard?
We had an admiral aboard.
Okay.
So they got, like I said, they got where you had to have uniform a day on most of the time, and we even had guys hanging over the side painting in their uniforms. I didn't care for that too much. Like the last 6 months I was aboard there, I volunteered for the Master in Arms Force. One of the reasons was we got better liberty.
Now, how long were you on the Chicago?
A couple couple of years. And that's the ship I got discharged from.
Now, where were some of the ports that you went to in the Chicago?
I think, can't remember.
Well, where did you cruise then?
Well, when I got discharged, their next cruise was to Vietnam. So, but we didn't, because it was mostly training cruises and practice runs for putting the ship in commission that we made on there. So we didn't really hit a lot of ports when I was aboard Chicago. When I was at afterwards,
so you were in the Pacific then with
yeah.
with that. Okay.
It was home ported in San Diego once we got it commissioned.
So did you ever go off the coast of Vietnam or
No, I never did.
Thailand or?
But the Chicago did. So after I got discharged, their next cruise was going to be to Vietnam. So.
Well, what do you think were some of your best remembrances of being in the service?
Probably aboard San Pablo, first ship I was on. I learned quite a bit on there. And when I went on there, everything was, for Radioman, was Morse code. We received and sent everything Morse code. By the time I got discharged off in Chicago, everything was teletype equipment, including top secret messages and everything over to teletype. So I liked it better with Morse code. I think most of the radio operators did. Because aboard San Pablo, we used to fight to get messages to send out. Like I'd be on watch in the morning and get relieved at lunchtime. They'd bring a message in just before I get off watch or something. We used to hide it in the drawer and go down and eat lunch and come back up and grab the message so we can get out, send it out so the guy on watch didn't get it. So we used to play games like that. Because I used to enjoy the Morse code.
So you did see a lot of changes take place in the 10 years you were in.
Yeah.
How did you feel being on the ammunition carrier? Now you said you went up and down the coast of South America?
Well, and we went through the Panama Canal. We wanted to go around, they wouldn't let us, so we went through the Panama Canal, and then we went down to Chile and Costa Rica, and then up to California.
Now what were you doing with it being an ammunition carrier?
What?
Were you delivering...
At that time, we were just going on the West Coast.
Oh, just on cruise.
Port Chicago, California was going to be the home port, so we were just taking it out there. But they decided to go down and give us liberty, I guess, in Chile and Costa Rica before we went up to California. I tell you, that's the shipward. All you had to do was whisper fire, and everybody was at their stations. They had a good fire crew, that's for sure.
How did you feel when you were in the radio room with this message about Kennedy coming through? What was the reaction?
I was shocked. Couldn't believe it. Like I said, our watch officer was down making a burn run, so I had to send one of the guys down to get him, come up.
Did they put the base on full alert?
Well,
It
you were
wasn't a
at
base,
sea.
we were just a big comm center, just a big building. But I got the message over AP from the press before we started getting messages through the Navy for it. So probably about 10 minutes, 15 minutes after the thing came over from AP press, then we started getting flash messages through our Navy channels for the president being assassinated.
Did you ever see any USO shows or anything like that at all? Or?
No. No.
How do you think your time in the service had an effect on your life?
Changed me a lot. I grew up. I needed to grow up. When I went in and I did it, it did the job. I think every kid out of high school ought to go in the service for a few years, get the discipline and find out what it's all about. I know it helped me a lot. I was a spoiled kid when I was young. That's why I couldn't get along with my stepfather, because it wasn't him, it was me. So that woke me up.
Okay. Why didn't you stay for 20 years?
I just got tired of it. I figured, I might as well get out now, knowing I'm going to get an honorable discharge, and stay in and get kicked out. So my attitude changed toward the end when I was aboard the USS Chicago. So.
Okay, if you hold this and maybe tell us.
Also, I got these 4 tattoos. I told my wife I was in the Navy 10 years and I only got drunk 4 times.
Okay.
Yep.
Where was that taken?
I don't remember. I'll take another look at it. I think I was taken aboard the USS Haleakala, the ammunition ship I was on.
So that'd be about what time and what dates?
Let's see. It's in the mid-60s. Mid-60s.
Okay.
When you got out, did you make use of the GI Bill at all?
No, never used it.
How about, did you join any veterans organizations?
American Legion, VFW.
You active or?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm active in our Legion and haven't been active in the VFW.
Do you ever stay in contact with anyone that was in service with you?
No, never have.
Any ship reunions or anything? Excuse
No.
me. Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much for the interview.
You're very welcome.